Hey there, it's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
If you're watching Facebook Live or YouTube Live, there on the screen is Sandy Silverthorne, and he is an author and illustrator. He's got a new book out. It's called Important Things Every Kid Should Know, or Every Kid Should Know, about middle school. Sandy, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. It's a beautiful day out here. I'm in Eugene, Oregon. So
Oh, wow.
We're enjoying our season of sunshine. So
You're not are you having any smoke at all from the fires south of you, or
a little bit. The air quality you can kind of tell, but we had a fire about 5 miles from us last September, and the whole valley was just blanketed. So this is nothing compared to that. We literally were hunkered down in one room last year with an air purifier. We didn't even want to go out in the family room in the kitchen. So actually, we're doing okay right now. But down south of us, about 3 hours south of us, is Ashland, Medford, and they're really getting hit hard. So
Wow. Our prayers with everybody there on the West Coast. Well, we're not used to that. We get all the tropical storms and the hurricanes and tornadoes here in Atlanta. But those fires are wicked. We've heard horror stories about that. Well, let's do this. Let's talk about you. Now, first thing, important things every kid should know about middle school. You're about 49 years too late.
Yeah, if you could have written this a long time ago, that would have been great.
You know what? That's one of my favorite reviews I got on Amazon. In fact, that's kind of a pattern. I wish this had been around when I was in middle. I wish it had been around when I was in middle school. Yeah.
Well, I did notice. Go ahead.
I kind of base it. I didn't have a horrible time in middle school, but I do kind of base some of the book on some of my experiences. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I ended up in broadcasting, so thank you very much. If you'd have just been a little bit on the ball there, but no, we appreciate you going in this direction. You also, I mean, this is not your first rodeo. You have a number of kids' books, and I did notice some of the kids' joke books. I have not read them. So right before we get into that, your favorite kids' joke, do you have one?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. I just finished writing 4 kids books, kids joke books. So I have done 1,600 jokes.
Oh, wow.
My mind is kind of going blank, but let's see. Well, here's one. It's my doctor says I have a fear of giants. I have fee-fi-phobia.
That's perfect for me. I still have kids at home, so they're older, but it'll roll their eyes.
He's going to steal that one.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, absolutely. Feel free. I steal most of mine. So my family's kind of getting used to when I come out and say something like, gee, I just talked to my doctor. They know something's coming. You know, phobia is coming. They roll their eyes before I even get to the punchline.
Yeah.
Well, Sandy, how'd you get started in this? I mean, it looks like that you're going, you're talking, the book we're going to talk about is the middle school book, but how did you get started in this genre?
It's just crazy. When we moved up from Southern California years ago, and I didn't have a job, didn't really have a place to live, although we had family to live with, thankfully, and just kind of came up to Eugene and fell in love with it and went, okay, God, we're here. Now what? Well, my wife goes to a Bible study. I'll try to make this quick.
Sure.
And meets a friend who also just recently moved to town. And the friend says, what does your husband do? And my wife says, well, he's an illustrator. He does cartoon kind of illustrations. What does your husband do? And she said, well, my husband hires illustrators for Harvest House Publishers here in Eugene. So they quickly got us together, and they've been dear friends ever since. He sent me anything that even remotely fit my my style, excuse me, to do for Harvest House. And then about a year after that, they had an idea of doing a Bible story, kind of a Where's Waldo book. I don't know if you remember those from years ago. And so I did the Where's Waldo type, only it was Bible stories, but you still had to find the little people and everything. And then it just kind of took off after that. And I've been writing and illustrating books for probably 30 years now.
Wow.
And it's just been a joy. It fits my personality really well. I get to use my humor, but honestly, I'm a bit of an introvert. So I just love, my wife will look in ever so often and I'll be chuckling at the drawing table because something strikes me funny. So it's just been a gift. It's really been a gift from the Lord.
Well, let's talk about the new book, things every kid should know going into middle school. I mean, again, like Rick said, middle school years, those are years that I like to just keep in the past and not think about them too much. What brought this book about?
I can't even remember what made me think of it other than I just love. I did a book years ago, kind of this same thing, and it was okay, but I felt like it could have been so much better. I think that's probably why I went to Harvest House again. It was a different publisher, and I thought, I guess I matured. I had some bigger ideas, and then frankly, middle school has changed so much, or that age group has changed so much. So I just felt like I wanted to do a real complete one with more devotional material. So I went to them and kind of put together a proposal and said, hey, here's what I'd like to do. And I included some of my artwork and things, have a lot of humor, a lot of real practical things, but at the same time, more spiritual input, some more devotional material at the end of every chapter. And so they went for it. And we met and got some ideas, and they just gave me total freedom. I just felt I went and, here's one thing I did. I went to a couple churches and hung out with this one youth group, this one middle school group, because once Harvest House said yes, I thought, now what do I do? Now I got to write a book.
What have I gotten into?
Yeah. So I went on Wednesday night. They met and had a kind of a fun night with middle school kids. So I just went and hung out and just kind of absorbed, kind of the vibe. Because obviously, it's like you said, it's been a few years since I've been in middle school. And that was really fun. And I also spoke to middle school pastors, said, okay, what are kids going through? I remembered some of the things my daughter went through. A lot of that's in the book. And I just have such a care. As we all know, the enemy knows if he can get to the kids, then he can change a whole culture. And so I feel like, hey, let's get to the kids with some reality, with some good stuff, and still couch it with a lot of humor, a lot of cartoons. I have a lot of quizzes in there. What do you like to do? Do you like music? Do you like robots? Do you like sports? And where kids can interact, literally writing in the book and filling out these little quizzes. I just hope it's effective, and I'm hoping it's given kids a good start as they get into middle school.
Sandy Silverthorne is an illustrator and author. His latest book is called Important Things Every Kid Should Know About Middle School. Do you get a response from kids that have participated in your books, whether they be jokes or a book like this? And what do they say to you? And what's touched your heart, you think, the most?
Oh, with when I did the joke books, I can kind of get off topic here. When I did the joke books, they're real fun. I enjoy the publisher, and they're pretty easy to do. And I get to do my little drawings in there. But I kind of honestly, I thought, is this, what am I doing? Is this helping anybody? And one of the first reviews I got with my first joke book said, my son doesn't read. He hates to read. I gave him this joke book, and now he's following me around the house, reading the jokes out loud to me. And I thought, okay, thank you, Lord. It's getting some reluctant readers to get into reading. So that's a joy, hearing that. I heard a review about the middle school book too. A friend's, I can't remember who it was. It was someone's daughter. She read it from beginning to end, and she's keeping it in her locker at middle school. She got it just the right time. And I love that because, like I said, there's devotional material. I would have loved it if between lunch and my sixth period could have run to my locker and read that I'm not alone, that God loves me, God has a plan for me. He's even going to use my cartoons and my humor, for him. That would have been helpful throughout my middle school day.
For sure, yeah. Sandy Silverthorne. And Sandy, one thing I think is cool on your website, sandysilverthornebooks.com, you have Doodle Mania for those who may be into drawing. Tell us about Doodle Mania real quick.
We started this years ago when I speak. I still do it when I speak to young people's group. So what happens is a kid will come up. I'll either have a sketch pad or an electronic tablet, and they draw a doodle. They have like 5 seconds to draw something real quick, and it doesn't have to make sense, just some kind of quick doodle. Then I have to make something out of what they drew, and then also be telling the Bible story I had planned that day too. So it keeps this mind fresh. Sometimes
so it's
they'll
really
draw
more for you than for the kids, then, is what you're saying, right?
It's an exercise for me. Sometimes I'm up there smiling and nodding and praying, Lord, you got to help me out with this one. I have no idea. So I make the thing. And so my daughter suggested that we put Doodle Mania on the website so people get an idea to how it works and everything. And we've had some fun with that. I have one we just did last week that's a fresh one on there. So
fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
Dan and I have a weekly staff meeting, and it's about an hour long or a couple of days long, and I usually end up doodling. In fact, I hear this is last week's. And Dan was so impressed. I said, well, that's just page 1 of the 20 that I have from last week's meeting. So I think there's something therapeutic about that. But thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much for what you do. It is so needed. And no doubt you're impacting and imparting more of Jesus and so many young folks. And we appreciate what you do. We'd love to talk to you again. SandySilverthorneBooks.com is the place to go to. Check out all the books, not just this one, but the joke books, the doodle books, whatever he's got there, just check it out. Sandy, we've got to take a break. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan
Thank you.
Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.